Okay. Hello everyone. Very good morning and welcome back to RBI Grade B. So today we are going to start the schemes which we have left yesterday, right? And we were reading about the credit fund, credit guarantee fund for MSMEs which has been launched, right? The question which I want to ask you is the screen behind me is visible to everyone? Can you see the screen behind me? Okay, fine. So let's see. Yesterday, we were talking about it that how much guarantee coverage has been given. Your yes. So guarantee coverage we were talking about yesterday, and I have told you that micro enterprises, MSMEs in northeastern region, women entrepreneurs, aspirational districts, Z certified MSEs. I have told you that what are Z certified MSEs. Do you know the full form? Do you remember the full form what I have told you yesterday? Z certified MSEs. If you know it, please tell me. So all the other category of borrowers are having this much amount of maximum guarantee coverage. That means if suppose 20 lakhs of loan is being provided, then only 75% of loan will be covered under the guarantee. The rest amount will not be covered under the guarantee thing. Now, credit facilities that can be extended by more than one bank. I have told you yesterday also, there is limit as per member lending institutions. You have got limit for regional rural banks 50 lakhs. You have got limit for the small finance bank up to 50 lakhs, and for scheduled commercial bank the maximum limit is 200 lakhs or the 2 crore rupees, which is the maximum amount and for which guarantee can be given under this particular scheme. Yes, zero effect, zero defect. So the credit facility that has already become NPA cannot be covered under this particular scheme. What do you people understand by NPA? Please tell me. The joint financing by a financial institution and commercial bank can be covered under this particular scheme. Now, what is hybrid security product? See, hybrid security means combination of secured and unsecured part of loans. That means suppose you have provided loan or member lending institutions or banks have provided loan to one person. Correct? Now that person has provided collateral for some part. If collateral has been provided, then obviously that part of loan is secured. But for the unsecured part, if you are giving the guarantee, that is called as the hybrid security. Yes, non-performing assets, I also know that, but what kind of assets become non-performing? That is my question. What kind of assets become non-performing NPA? You have to tell me. See, coming over here, hybrid security, that means where the member lending institution or the banks will be allowed to obtain collateral security for a part of the credit facility. That means obviously why this particular guarantee is being given, so that member lending institutions may remain rest assured. That means they do not face the risk of credit risk or called as default risk. So hybrid security part is that part of security where banks take collateral for one part of loan and for other part guarantee is being provided. Very good. Anshu, so whose payment remained overdue for a period of 90 days, they are called as the non-performing assets. Great. So whereas the remaining unsecured part of credit facility up to a maximum of 200 lakhs can be recovered under the scheme. So I hope you have understood the hybrid security. Now we are going to talk about the annual guarantee fee which is payable by the member lending institutions. Now what is this guarantee fee which should be payable by the member lending institution. See, member lending institutions or the banks, they face a risk, right? And this particular risk is being covered by providing them a guarantee. We are covering this particular risk by providing them a guarantee. Now, whosoever is providing them the guarantee, they are also facing the risk of default, correct? So hence, this is mandated that member lending institutions or the banks will pay few charges or annual guarantee fees to the trust, to the credit guarantee trust who is providing them the guarantee. Member lending institutions or the banks will pay them the standard rate, or this is called as the fees. Why? Because this particular trust is covering the risk of credit for the banks. So banks also have to give something in return. So banks pay this annual guarantee fees to the credit trust. That's what I was asking at the start. That is, the screen is visible to everyone. I hope board's brightness is correct only. But let me check it for you. Okay. What earlier when I asked to everyone how is this screen visible to everyone, then answer was yes, yes, yes. Okay, fine. Give me 2 minutes. I'll do that. Words visible now, or the same problem remains? Same issue. Uh, Wait. I guess it should be visible now. Is it visible? I guess it is visible now. Yeah. Fine. Coming back to the topic. So what we were talking about is that depending on the loan size, banks also have to pay a fees to the credit guarantee trust who is providing them the services of covering the risk. So standard rates are, if the loan amount is up to 10 lakhs, then 0.75% needs to be paid as the annual guarantee fees. If it is 10 to 50 lakhs, then 1.1%, above 50 to 2 crores, then 1.2% is the standard rate. If you know the concept of DICGC, that is Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation of India, they provide insurance for the deposits that we have made into the banks, right? In that scenario as well, banks have to pay a certain fee to the DICGC in order to cover the risk for them. So nothing is being done for the free. Banks are giving loans. Apart from it, interest rates are also normal. There is no loss which banks are bearing on account of interest rate. So when you are earning the income as usual, that means in normal case scenario, and plus your credit risk is also being covered, then you have to pay certain kind of fees, that is inevitable. Next, some discount is being provided in the annual guarantee fees. For whom? If the target group is women, SC/ST, persons with disability. Geographic, if the loan which is being provided is in northeastern region, Sikkim, UT of Jammu Kashmir, UT of Ladakh, up to 50 lakhs, as well as the aspirational district. And next is on the basis of MSE status. So Z certified, zero effect, zero defect, right? So an MSE falling in all the above three categories, that is social, geographic, MSE status, they will be eligible for a maximum discount of 30%. That means there is an MSE which is falling, which is let's suppose which is run by a woman. She resides in northeastern region and her MSc is Z certified. If this is the thing, that one MSc is falling in all the three criterias, then in that scenario, maximum discount that will be provided is 30%. That means whatever amount of fee that you have to provide, 30% discount will be applicable to it. Next scheme we are going to talk about. This particular scheme is called as Spurti. Spurti, scheme for fund for regeneration of traditional industries. So here see, I have told you each and every scheme has been made with a different kind of focus, and this particular scheme, I guess, wait for a second. I hope words are visible to everyone. The words which are written in the screen, are they visible to everyone? Please tell me about that. Or I shall be reducing the brightness because I am finding myself. Is it working now? Are the words visible now? Let's increase the brightness only. Fine. So, history of this particular scheme is, this particular scheme was started in the year 2014, right? What are the objectives of this particular scheme? Obviously, we are going to start this particular scheme for traditional industries. That means we are focusing on the traditional industry artisans and the rural entrepreneurs, to equip traditional artisans of the associate cluster with the improved skills and capabilities through training, to make provision for common facilities and improved tool and equipments for artisans to promote optimum utilization of the infrastructure facilities. Now, what is the project coverage? In the project coverage thing, The target is to cover more than 677 clusters across the country between 2021 and 2022, wherein the approx 4 lakh artisans are proposed to be covered under the various scheme components. The geographical distribution is throughout the country, with at least 10% located in the northeastern region, J&K, and the hill states. Nodal agency is, who is going to be the nodal agency for this? NA. Nodal agency is your KVIC for Khadi and Village Industries clusters, as well as COIR board for COIR based clusters. Next is, who is going to be the technical agencies? Technical agencies means, suppose whenever you are doing any kind of technical work means, see, there is a skill of repair. If there is any machinery which gets disturbed, then someone is called as mechanic. He comes and repairs the machine. On what basis? Because he has got the skills for it. So technical agency means whenever you are doing any kind of specialized work, like here we are promoting the artisans, correct? So in that scenario, we need few people who are masters in that particular skill. So this is called as the technical agency. See, technical agency, these are the established institutions with proven expertise in the artisan and small enterprise cluster development. They shall be engaged as technical agencies to provide close hand-holding and implementation support. Now, see, obviously, technical agencies are going to do the work for you. They are going to provide the trainings and all those things. So you have to compensate them well. So the fee will be paid by the nodal agency to the technical agency on per cluster basis, 40% on approval of project, 30% on functionalization of clusters, means as soon as you will start the work, and next is on handover of the cluster by the implementing agency to the SPVE. What is this SPV? SPV is the special purpose vehicle. Special purpose vehicle means these are the companies which are formed in order to carry out a specialized task. See, KVIC is implementing agencies or the nodal agencies for so many schemes. It cannot give its proper attention to each and every scheme with the same intention and vigor. So we need an company, or we need an implementing agency who should be taking care of the scheme very closely. So these are the special purpose vehicles which are made in order to carry out a particular task. Next is, who are the implementing agencies of this particular scheme? So it would be non-governmental organizations, institutions of central and state government, semi-government institutions, field functionaries of state and central government, panchayati raj institutions, producers collective, as well as who are having the suitable expertise to undertake the cluster development. Now what is cluster development? Cluster development means a group, area based, a group will be identified who need the assistance on account of their rural artisans related thing, right? So they need training for that, and we are going to provide training on the basis of area wise. Next, see what kind of interventions are covered. So soft intervention, hard intervention. Soft and hard intervention means you can understand this in a way. Soft interventions means when you want to develop training related or behavioral related changes or the component. Hard intervention means when you want to develop the infrastructure to achieve your objective, right? And lastly, you will be also focusing on the marketing related aspects as well. So these are the following things which will be worked under this particular scheme. First of all, please be clear that this scheme has been run for the rural artisans and all those people who are trained in the traditional skills, to train them more, to provide them more support so that they can carry out their work profitably. Number one kind of support is soft intervention. Now see what all is there in the soft intervention. So general awareness, counseling, motivation, skill development, capacity building, institution development, exposure visits, market promotion initiatives, product development, participation in seminars, workshop, training programs. So what we are doing over here, we are developing the mind, that how you need to perform your skill. So these are called as the soft intervention. Now what we will be talking in the hard intervention. So in hard intervention, we are going to develop the common facility centers, raw material banks, upgradation of production infrastructure, tool and technology upgradation. So basically we are talking about the infrastructure like warehouse, training centers, value addition and processing centers. Lastly, in the thematic interventions, what we are going to talk about is we are going to building the brand. That means marketing related thing, promotional campaign, new media marketing, e-commerce initiatives and innovation, etc. So all the things which are required in order to start a particular business enterprise have been included over here. They are going to provide you training, they are going to provide you infrastructure, they are also going to provide the brand support to you so that you can carry out your work easily, right? Next is steering committee. Steering committee means these are constituted under the ministry, ministry's head. So scheme steering committee will be constituted under the chairmanship of the secretary of MSME, and the steering committee may opt representatives of industry associations, R&D institutions as well as the private sector experts. So they'll do, new nodal agencies need to be selected and appointed by the SSCs. These are all the functions what the steering committee will perform. What is the role of steering committee? So first of all, nodal agencies, they will be selected. The scheme shall be implemented in all states of India, as well as the time frame for the implementation will be 12 to 18 months, and all of it will be taken care by your scheme steering committee, which has been constituted under the ministry, right? Because we know nodal agency here is your KVIC. Next, formation of SPV. What is SPV? I have told you that SPV is special purpose vehicle. This is being formed because every kind of scheme needs undivided attention and implementation by a dedicated agency. So in some schemes, there is a provision of formulating a special purpose vehicle that normally remains a company which is having the sole purpose of carrying out that particular scheme. So what happens is this particular company works as a single point of contact between all the stakeholders, right? All the stakeholders will come to the company. This particular company will go to all stakeholders, talk about the scheme, solve all the impediments which are coming in the way of scheme, and hence such task will be done. So let's talk about formation of special purpose vehicle. An SPV will be formed for each cluster with minimum 33% representation of artisans. So what is important is there will be a special purpose vehicle for each cluster, 33% representation of artisans in the governing body or the management committee. In case Panchayati Raj institutions are at the cluster level, cluster micro enterprise beneficiaries will hold minimum 66% of the total equity, and in case private sector promoted SPV is there, then the shareholding of the lead investor shall not normally exceed 50%. So that means whatever kind of SPV is there, depending on that they are telling you the percentage. They are telling you that 33 representation of the artisans should be there if the Panchayati Raj institutions are there at the cluster level, and if your SPV is run or led by the Panchayati Raj institution, then in that case 60% representation should be of the beneficiaries or the enterprises which are going to be benefit from this particular scheme, Sphoorti scheme. And lastly, if there is private company which is leading this particular SPV, in that particular case, the equity of the private investor or the private partner should not be more than 50% of the scheme. Now we are going to talk about the very important thing, that is your criteria of MSMEs. This has been changed last year, right? Has been revised 2 times, and finally we have reached a criteria where on the basis of what thing we are going to define our MSMEs. That means what should be our micro enterprise, what should be our small enterprise, and what should be our medium enterprise. Let's see this. I do not know whether it is visible to you or not, but let me just explain this to you. What we are talking about here, first thing, understand in the definition of MSMEs, the distinction between manufacturing and the service enterprises have been eliminated, right? Earlier there was a distinction between manufacturing and service related enterprises, but now this has been done away with. Now we have just one criteria. If your enterprise is falling into that, we will consider that okay, you are a MSME, otherwise not. So first of all, see, micro. What kind of entity is a micro entity? If the investment in plant and equipment is not more than 1 crore. That means the investment you have done in your capital assets should not be more than 1 crore. And annual turnover, that means sales. Annually, your sales should not be more than 5 crores. So 1 crore and 5 crore. Now just add a 0 to it and you will reach to the criteria of small enterprise. Here they are saying that investment in plant and machinery should not be more than 10 crore and annual turnover should not be more than 50 crores. So this is the criteria for being a small enterprise. Now let's talk about the medium enterprise. Here, investment in plant and equipment should not be more than 50 crores and annual turnover should not be more than the 250 crores. Right? Now, if you will see, the ratio between all of these has been kept 1:5. That means if your investment, you can try to remember this in this way. See, here the ratio in the case of micro enterprise, the ratio is between investment in plant and equipment and my turnover is 1:5, right? Here also it is 1:5. And in case of medium enterprises also, this is 1:5. So the criteria has been kept the same, but these are the definitions or these are the criteria on the basis of which you are going to define your micro, small or medium enterprise. These have been issued latest, and earlier with that also they have been changed 2 times, but this is the final one, MSME definition. And there have been so many reforms which are being carried out in the MSME sector because this sector is crucial for our economy, and plus this sector needs support as well, right? Now wait for a second. Yes, let's talk about the funding patterns. Funding patterns. Government of India is going to give 90% of the hard intervention cost and entire 100% cost of soft intervention. In which area? In the area of northeastern region, J&K and the hilly areas. Next is implementing agencies, that is state, central government organization or NGOs. They need to provide land and 10% of hard intervention, and 5% in case of northeastern, J&K and hill areas of the country. So let's make it easy for you. What they are saying over here is that there are two kinds of things which you are going to do. One is your hard intervention and other one is your soft intervention, right? Plus area based. One is other areas of the country and the second bifurcation is northeastern region or the hilly areas along with J&K. So here they are saying that in case of other areas and in for providing hard intervention costs, government is going to provide 90% for the hard intervention, right, and 100% for the soft intervention, plus 10% will be provided by your implementing agencies. Government is going to provide 90% for the hard intervention and 10% will be provided by your implementing agencies. And in case of northeastern region or hilly areas, government is going to provide 95% and 5% will be provided by your implementing agencies, right? 100% will be provided for obviously the soft interventions. So is this clear to everyone? This is the, what you can say, the on the basis of this you can create a chart like this. Whenever you will get the hands on the note, please try to prepare a chart like this for your own understanding purposes. Now one more important thing which is remaining over here, that what should be the maximum assistance. So maximum assistance, there have been a limit which has been imposed. It is maximum 5 crores. So for regular clusters means where only up to 500 artisans are there. So the assistance will be 2.5 crore per cluster. But if the number of artisans are more, that is 500 artisans, then that will be called as a major cluster and the assistance that will be provided is the 5 crore per cluster. Next scheme is Aspire scheme. Aspire scheme is a scheme for promotion of innovation in rural industry as well as the entrepreneurship. So this is a technical kind of scheme where you will see that technology related upgradation is being done. So this particular scheme has been launched in the year 2015. What was the aim? So please clearly see the aim. Aspire scheme is specifically for the technology related upgradations or providing the skills with related to technology, right? Here you will see that technology incubators as well as the livelihood incubators have been told to be set up. Now one thing you need to tell me, that what is the meaning of incubators? I want to ask it from you. Do you guys understand the meaning of incubators? Do you guys understand the meaning of incubators? Anyone? I know it becomes very hard to type a reply, but sometimes it's easier to do that, or sometimes it is good to do that. If you know it, please tell me. If you do not, then let me explain to that. See, what are incubators is, before starting with this, first let's understand the meaning of incubators. So we also call them as sandboxes or the incubators or anything. Have you ever seen how the trainings of pilots being done? So those are called as simulators or simulation or etc. Like these terms are used. What is that? Actually, a artificial environment is being created in order to train the pilots, because obviously we cannot train the pilots initially through actual planes, because that will be too risky, too costly. So what they actually do is they create a plane like environment, right? And in that particular environment, pilots are being trained. So they get to know about what kinds of condition they are going to face in the real life. So incubator is a similar concept but a little bit different. How it is different? So in case of incubation, the new entrepreneurs are provided all kinds of support. This means that this is a protected environment. A protected kind of environment is created where the entrepreneur can come and he can test his business idea or the technology, all of that. If he is doing any kind of mistake, then the support will be provided to him. So this is called as the incubation, right? And you will see that there have been a provision of two kinds of incubators over here. One is related to skills, one is related to the technology. Although the technology one has been stopped, but yes, all those incubators which have got the technology related incubator early on, they will be remain applicable. Now what is all that? What is this all confusion all about? We are going to see in this particular scheme. So focus over here. This was started in 2015, right? What was the purpose to start over here? They wanted to set up a network of technology centers, and they wanted to set up incubation centers so that entrepreneurship can be promoted and startups can be promoted, which will lead to innovation and entrepreneurship in the agro industry. So if you know, we need technology in the agro industry quite much. How? If you have heard the name of Happy Seeder. So this is a machine which has been invented. How this machine works is that all those stubbles which remains in the field after taking out your crop, this particular Happy Seeder, it works on that and it gives a very good kind of result. So there are so many inventions, innovations that we need in our agricultural sector, and not just in agricultural sector but in general per se also. So in the case of rural setups as well as the urban setups, what we need is innovation. And in order to promote the innovation, see, if you want to do any kind of experiment, chemistry related experiment, then you need to have a chemistry lab, right? You need infrastructure. But can everyone develop a chemistry lab for themselves? No. So hence this particular scheme has been brought in where they are going to provide you the infrastructure, all that support which you need for doing your experiments, for doing your what you can say innovation, and you can do it there and then itself. And apart from that, you'll also need you'll also get the support for upgrading your business idea to a revenue generating business. So this is the thing over here. What is the aim of this particular scheme? The same things: creating new jobs, promoting entrepreneurship culture, grassroots economic development, facilitating innovative business solutions, as well as promoting innovation so that competitiveness of the small and micro enterprises sector can be developed further. Now, why we are reading this particular scheme? Because this particular scheme has got the funding for the period of 2021 to 22 till 2025 of the 196.47 crores. Now, what are the scheme components are? Pay a very good attention to this. Number one is create a database of technologies which are available with the government and private agencies, and set up a network of technology centers for sharing the best practices and the experiences. That means you get to know that, okay, what are the assets, what are the technology related assets that are available with the various government agencies, and you will be creating centers for them so that anyone who is in the need of doing the experiment with that particular technology can do so. Next is developing the required skilled human resource. Next, setting up the livelihood business incubators to provide skill training. Now this livelihood business incubators is, here you are going to do the skill development, or you are going to provide the training. Now another thing, the business idea could be dependent on any kind of technology, right? you could be doing anything. You might be developing a machine. You might be developing a machine for the khadi related products. You might be doing some kinds of experiments on how to process a tomato ketchup faster, right? So such kind of things exist where your expertise will be different. So these kinds of different training institutions will be included over here. Here see how this particular incubator will work. So through NSIC, KVIC, COIR board and any other institution or agency or any eligible private institutions who can provide skill training, relevant skill training to the persons who are interested in setting up their own enterprise. Next is your setting up technology business incubators which are operated currently under different ministries or eligible private institutions. Let me tell you that this particular provision has been taken off from this particular scheme. We are going to talk about this later on. Incubation and the commercialization of business idea program. Now commercialization means what? Incubation is testing your idea, whether your idea will work or not, whether the machine you have invented or innovated that will work or not. You will check that under incubation. Once incubation has been done, after that you will see whether you can produce commercial production out of that machine. That is known as the commercialization of the business idea. Understood? So incubation and commercialization of business idea program through technical or research institutions as well as the private incubators. Business accelerators program for scaling up and establishing a framework for startup promotion through creating a funds of funds with the SEBI. See, your startups, they need money also. This is not very much a common sense that if you want to start any new business, what you need is skills, what you need is technology support, what you also need is funds in order to take your business to a next level. So for funding related thing, a funds of funds have been created with the SEBI for providing funding to the early stage enterprises and startups in the agro-rural sector to convert these into commercial enterprise. Now, the thing which we were talking about, wait for a second. Yes. So the technology business incubators component under the Aspire scheme has been discontinued due to convergence with the incubation scheme. However, the TBI approved till 31st March will be supported with the financial assistance for the procurement of plant and machinery as the previous guidelines were applicable. That means now this particular component has been discontinued, but whatever commitments that have been made till the 31st March 2021, they will be carried out. Next is going to study more about livelihood business incubators. Livelihood business incubators is all about providing the skill development, right? So to set up business incubators so that eligible youth can be adequately incubated in various skills, to impart entrepreneurship and skill development, to provide mentoring and the hand holding with the facilitation for funding, and to promote new low-end technologies based enterprises. So all these are the objectives of your livelihood business incubators. The incubator would evolve a transparent system for selection of incubates. Minimum 300 to 500 incubates is required to be trained or incubated every year. So these are the people, number of people which you need to train under this particular scheme every year. In respect of LBIs to be set up by any institution on its own or by any of the agency of the Ministry of MSME, one-time grant of 100% of cost of plant and machinery other than land will be provided, or up to INR 100 lakhs, whichever is less to be provided. So if here you will see the differentiation. What kind of differentiation? If this particular incubator has been set up by any agency of state government or government of India, or any particular agency which is there with the Ministry of MSME, then the funding which will be provided is 100 lakhs or 100% of your plant and machinery that you have invested. Remember this, in any kind of scheme there is no subsidy or help is provided in relation to the land. Land is not considered an item of investment. Why? Because value of land always increases, and if someone is going to invest in land, then they should be doing it on their own behalf. Government is never going to provide you any kind of help regarding the land component, right? So same is the thing over here also. Now the thing changes when these particular incubators are being set up by private applicants. If this is being set up by private applicants, then one-time grant of 75%, or this is not 7,500 lakhs, that is too much. 75 lakhs, whichever is less, will be provided. That means if your such kind of institutions, if private entities think that okay, we are going to set up these particular institutions, then the grant amount reduces, and the grant amount is just 75% or 75 lakhs, whichever is less. Obviously, if government is going to provide just 75% of your capital investment, then the remaining 25% of capital investment has to be borne by the applicant organization. Total number of 125 such centers are being targeted. A one-time grant of maximum up to 100 lakhs for the purchase of extending support or running day-to-day operations can be provided. Now talking about the important thing, which is your funds of fund by the SEBI. So creating a framework for startup promotion through SEBI by using innovative means of finance like equity, quasi-equity, angel funds, venture capital, impact funds, challenge funds, etc. Means these kinds of funding will be provided. Suppose there is a startup and you are investing money into it. Now you will be giving money in what form? There are so many ways. You can give in form of equity, you can give in form of debt, right? You can give in form of quasi equity, means that is having the features of, for some features of equity component. So you can provide the funds to the startup in various kinds of format, and hence they are telling you that we can be providing funds to our startups in so many ways. Aspire funds of fund under SEBI with a corpus fund of INR 60 crore was augmented with the amount of 250 crore, making the total corpus as 310 crore. The tenure will be up to 6 years from the year of release of final installments, that is till 31st March 2025, and one-time management fee of 0.5% of the size of fund will be payable to the SEBI, because SEBI is providing you the fund related support, hence you have to maintain this particular amount. So we are going to read till this point. Tomorrow we are going to read more, and let's just cover just one more component, that who is going to be eligible over here. See, when you have talked about the funding related support, there only we have already discussed that who can set up livelihood related incubators. So government agency, state government agencies, as well as the any academic institution. Apart from that, any non-for-profit private institutions who are having the experience in doing incubation or skill development programs may also be eligible for setting up the incubators related to livelihood. So this was the Spurti scheme, and tomorrow we are going to read more schemes on this, because there are so many schemes which has been launched by Ministry of MSMEs. But today we are going to keep up to this much. And one more thing you have to do is you have to tell me whether the screen brightness was good enough for you, whether you were able to see this, because I don't think we had faced such kind of issue early on. But if you have, then please tell me regarding that. So thank you so much for watching this lecture.